This isn't my fault. Really, this guitar being here is not my fault. It's Shane's fault. Shane from In the Blues mentioned Artist Guitars a while back as being one of Australia's excellent budget brands, kind of the Australian local market version of Harley Benton for these, made in China or at least overseas stuff for them as well. And he had mentioned these guitars, and I think this one came up and the Les Paul shaped. And I saw this one finally available actually in the US from Artist Guitars US site, and I said, damn it, I am powerless to stop this purchase. Damn you, Shane. Damn you. Damn you. Hey everyone, I'm Nick in the States, and this guitar is the Artist Guitars TC-59, sort of a hot-rodded Blackguard Telecaster that really, really impressed me as I got it and kind of opened the box and got into the product that it was. Now, it's a modern take on the classic Telecaster formula. It's an ash-bodied guitar, clear finish on the ash. It's not butterscotched up or anything, that's just the color. Black pickguard. This is a 2 humbucker variety, single volume, single tone, 3-way switch, coil tapping. You'll also see that it's a modern style Telecaster bridge, so 6 saddles, 6, not 5. This is Keith Richards' guitar. 6 individually adjustable height and intonation saddles, which is really cool. 2 chrome-covered humbuckers with the aforementioned coil tapping and neat little artist embossed logo on each of the humbuckers. It's a 22 fret neck, but they've done the nice thing of rounding the overhang, so that it kind of still looks like a 21 fret neck. It's a neat little piece of detail. Super glossed body, satin vintage style or coloring on the neck, very smooth. It's kind of a shallow D, so it's a slim neck with a D. One thing that may, upset the purists is it's a 14-inch radius. It's a very flat neck, so it's not your classic, 7.5-inch radius, old school 50s Telecaster neck. It is a flat neck, but it plays very good, nice for runs. Headstock is cool. Headstock is a sort of a slightly beaked version of the Fender shape, very similar to what Harley Benton does. And it has locking tuners. It also has, you'll notice that my strap is no longer on. It has really, really lousy strap pins. There's not a lot of angle there, don't really come up much, and so the strap, it doth come off once in a while. That's the biggest negative I can find on this guitar. But overall, it's gorgeous, and what was impressive about this out of the box is sometimes with inexpensive guitars, things might be slightly off, things might be just slightly more eccentric, the F-holes may look a little too big or too small, placement of things, whatever. This, when I opened it, I was shocked by just how right it looked, right? And then I played it, and, for like your normal just playing it on strumming it, figuring through everything, and was like, this just feels quite wonderful. And then I plugged it in, and it plays rock. It really has a growl. These are humbuckers allegedly modeled after the Seymour Duncan JB and Jazz set. So Alnico, warm, very cool. They've got some bite to them. They've got some presence to them. And it's just a nice compliment for the stuff that I've been playing lately. It's not super Tele-ish. It's just not. It's a Telecaster that has humbuckers, so it's a slightly different thing than your classic string beanie Telecaster tones that you get out of it. Now the coil tapping, and I'll show you when we do the playing on it, the interesting thing with the coil tapping is it doesn't turn it into a classic Telecaster tapped. It just doesn't. The tones aren't quite there. But it's something different. It's still a little thinner, a little less volume to those tones. It's still pleasing, maybe in a mix, in a band or what you're doing. It does give you options that way, but if you're thinking the taps are going to turn this from a, rip-roaring 2 humbucker Tele into a classic 50s style, slinky, twangy Blackguard Tele, it's not. It's just a little different. But overall, it does give you a lot of different tonal options. impressed. As I said, no fret bites. It's a full-length body. A lot of import Telecasters will sneakily take off like 3/4 or half an inch or maybe even more of length so they can make more bodies out of a length of wood. And they're like, oh, nobody will really notice because a lot of people don't have a real Telecaster that have one of those Telecasters, Harley Benton. And so when you get this and it opens up the box, you put it on the wall, and I realized that my SX Candy Apple is a solid half an inch less length to it than this guy. Just a half an inch. No jokes. Anyway, it's perfectly adequate. Perfectly adequate, just longer. And so it's an interesting thing. So you see that, it feels like a real deal. The closest analog I can get from the out-of-the-box experience, picking it up, feeling it, playing it, is it reminds me a lot of a classic vibe Telecaster with an American standard Fender neck, where they have the nice satin back feel to it. And the shape reminds me actually a lot of the American standard necks that I've played, especially on my Clapton Stratocaster has a very similar feeling neck. Pick it up and play it, and it's quite pleasant. It's quite pleasant. Overall, oh, I should mention, right? I should probably mention the fact that these are $180 right now with free shipping in the US. 180 bucks. I should have mentioned that earlier. Yeah, that's cheap. It's really great. And it's funny, so we're in a Telebration right now. We had the SX guitar, which was about 170 bucks with free shipping from Amazon, that came in this week. We have this guy that came in this week. I had back ordered this. They're now available on Artist Guitar's website. There's a link down below. Full honesty, if you click the link, I think I get 4 or 5% if you were to buy something from them. Most of their guitars are out of stock and coming back in November. These just came in. I had back ordered this 2 or 3 months ago. So it took a little bit for them to get their stock back in, and it seems to be kind of the case with their website. But I figured it was worth a flyer on it, and I'm quite happy that I did. The other one to be coming soon is the SX P90 Furion in Candy Apple Red. That one was, I think another one was like $160 plus shipping in the States. And also available in some other markets. Australia, we're looking at you. And so another cool guitar. So 3 Telecasters, all under 200 bucks. I have a 4th one, my Harley Benton TE90 FLT that I love. And so at some point in the near future, hopefully we'll do 4 cheap Telecaster shootout or demo, or they'll just hang out and exchange Telecaster tales, and I'll argue about the fact that none of them are traditional enough to be a Telecaster, even though a Telecaster is not French in any way. To the rig. Going from here into a Kemper, from the Kemper into a Behringer Euphoria, from the Euphoria into a Mac with Logic running on it, recording and having fun with tones. Let's have a little fun with this thing. I don't know what that was. Alright, well those are the tones that this guy puts out. As you can hear, I hope you could hear, the tapped, once again, isn't that slinky, thin, whatever tap that you might be hoping for, but it's still another usable tone, and especially to get that many options out of a $180 guitar, it's super impressive. It's really quite cool, and I'm happy with that, you know, options that it can kind of give you. I really enjoy this guitar, and for the type of music that I play, which is martially, crunchy, whatever, or really warm, unaccompanied noodling in your living room, these are tones that really resonate with me. Now, Artist Guitars, once again, link is down below. They don't have stock of many of their stuff. I think they've got their one pickup, super inexpensive Strats on there. This is on there, and maybe one of their pointy guitars, along with some acoustics and other stuff. Take a look. I'm not sure if their US is a fledgling operation and they're kind of figuring out how much risk to take by buying crap loads of quantity and having it shipped here and building themselves up. But hopefully, if this is any indication of the quality that they do, let's hope they start doing more. They also have an amazing looking Les Paul inspired guitar that's really accurately inspired that I'm sure they don't bring to the US because they're afraid of lawyers from our friends at Gibson. Understandable, lawyers need to make money, Gibson's got to protect that IP. It is what it is, but it costs us another kind of cool guitar that's overseas. With all of this, I have been Nick in the States. Yes, indeed, folks, I have issues. It has been a pleasure sharing them with you today. Take care.
Trooper 8675309 to base.
Go ahead, 5309.
Base, we have some intruders here who haven't yet subscribed to the channel. Shall I detain them?
5309, subject them to 2 options for more videos.
Good call, Base. That should bring them around.